NASCAR Winston Cup Series on Fox, presented by Home Depot, is brought to you by Singular Wireless. Never pay long distance or roaming again. It's a singular nation.
30th birthday, started 32nd. Currently the leader. We're under the fourth caution of the day back at the Hollywood Hotel trackside just next to Victory Lane, where eventually we'll find out who's going to win this thing. Jeff Hammond, got about 100 laps to go. You've talked about fuel mileage. You've talked about blown engines. In fact, we've had, or at least engine failure, 5 cars so far lost in the race because of that.
Well, we talked about this little item right here earlier. The
What's that cost, by the way?
That's about a $50 part right there. And what we're looking right now at is this last 108 laps. This is what's going to really separate the men from the boys and the guys who got their act together when it comes to this right here.
How about strategy-wise with about one more pit stop remaining, right? Figuring.
Yeah, you got one more stop coming up, and I think right now the guys are going to probably try to split that, run probably about 60 laps right there, maybe 59, somewhere along in there. Make maybe an early stop, try to force people. But you'll be seeing what you've been seeing all day long. Hard, aggressive racing from here on out. They've got to get up on the wheel and go after it.
Talked about some of the young guns. Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson in the top 5. Tony Stewart running second. Matt Kenseth the leader. Let's go back upstairs. They're getting ready to go green.
Kenseth will bring him to the flag. Stewart, Craven, Busch, and Johnson the front 5. Ward Burton, Nadeau, Earnhardt, Martin, and Newman. Put two rookies in the top 10. You see the speed build on Matt Kenseth's car. Here's the green. Punches his foot, and watch that meter go.
Climbs in a hurry, 60 miles an hour coming to the green. That's what the pace car brings them down to.
And 500-mile race here, I think it really complements a veteran because you got to be there to finish.
Already in the middle of turn 1 and 2, 165 miles an hour, over 170 off turn 2.
Bobby Labonte is back in the race after spending time in the garage as Kenseth brings them around.
A young driver, he might use all of his stuff up early in the race. The older guys, they know to save a little bit for these 500-milers.
Let's go to the leader's pit. Jeannie?
Hey guys, just before the caution, Robbie Reiser, Kenseth crew chief, said look out the car and make sure that wasn't us the reason for the caution. But you guys really have just been blessed this day after changing the engine on a Friday. Did you know it was going to run this well?
Well, it ran real well in Happy Hour yesterday, and we were pretty happy with the car, and we put it away early, just trying to save the engine. This is this one motor rule is tough on his motors, especially here, so trying to save everything we got.
All right, and Jeff was just touching on moments ago. Going to split the difference, just one more stop, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. We'll just split the difference if it goes green to the end, try to keep the best tires on it here.
All right, Mike Joy?
Thanks, Jeannie. You watch from Tony Stewart, the second-place car, 3/10 behind Matt Kenseth. 3/10 up on Kurt Busch. Is that tire debris or is it fluid?
No, it's just debris. A lot of rubber. It's getting later and later in the day. It's right out next to that wall. It gets a lot of buildup out there. Sand, rubber, trash.
Kevin Harvick, a lap down, but running at least as quick as the leaders.
Clear high
right
if you
behind
need it.
him.
Clear high if you need it.
Battle for position.
Boy, Harvick got loose off turn 2 right there. Look at this battle, 3 wide. Sterling Marlin, Kyle Petty, Mike Skinner in the 4.
Well, you can do that on new tires. You know, everybody's got fairly fresh tires on right now. You can kind of control your car, but you can't do that once you get a few laps on and make it.
Rusty Wallace, 18th, last car on the lead lap.
After starting back in 38.
Yes.
He's been up further than that, but back in the a little bit further back right now than he has been all day. He's been around 13th. You can hear him playing with the throttle. Can't quite mat it when he'd like to. Drives her down in there. Now listen how long he lays out of it. Now he's easing into it, just squeezing down into it. Can't get it wide open right there because there's just not enough grip.
Rusty, almost 9,000 down that front straightaway. 190 miles an hour.
Side, clear.
Now, Larry, as you know, as we go into the latter part of the race here, going into turn 1, you're going to be looking right into that sun. The one advantage that guys have today over what we had a few years ago is they got tear-offs on their windshield, so they can keep a pretty good view there, but it gets difficult running through those shadows into turn 1.
Well, you have trash getting on there. You have the sun. They start getting sand blasted, and with a 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time start, about 4 o'clock this afternoon, it gets pretty bad.
Mark Martin, you see right side of your screen, was coming into play as the lead changes. Tony Stewart back up front.
But Matt Kenseth in the 17, he looks like he just moved down. He saw Tony Stewart in the 20 catching. Why sit there and run side by side and let everybody else catch up to you?
Now, here's Kenseth coming back after him. Remember, in the last run of green flag racing, Stewart moved over and let Kenseth go. We thought there might have been a problem with Stewart's car. Apparently not.
Still hanging outside. And
Right now, the problem they have is the 97 car, Kurt Busch, all over the back of them.
Dick Trickle released from the infield care center. He is okay.
And you know, a driver, Junior always used to call me on the radio and say, boy, you ain't laying down on me, are you? About this point in the race is when you'd kind of like to say, well, I just want to hang in here and make it to the finish. But the spotters and the crew won't let you. Kenseth lets Tony Stewart get up there. They say, hey, what are you doing? Get back around him. Let's go.
Yeah, you still got 100 laps to race here.
They want to lead every inch of every race.
Darrell, if you also remember one thing, too, every time we had the stopwatch on you, the more we talked to you, the faster you'd run. As long as you had a cheerleader in that car with you, you were worth about 3/10 more a lap.
Well, I say it all the time on these telecasts. You can't encourage that driver too much. You can't tell him he's doing a good job too much. You just got to keep encouraging him. It really makes a difference. You got to let him know you believe in him. Whatever he's doing at that time, you believe in him.
That's right. You the man, baby. You the man. Stay up on that wheel. You're making me proud. You're making me proud. I think you've heard that a few times.
Yep.
That line's working good, bud. Keep it up.
My favorite line was, go get him, champ.
Now, Matt Kenseth's spotter just told him that line he's running on the bottom, though different from everybody else, is working well on the stopwatch.
And that's just a product of the adjustments they made to the car. Maybe they made an air pressure wedge or whatever adjustment. If you could run the bottom all day, that'd be the perfect place to be. But after the tires go away, you got to slide around a little bit.
You see the fog tracks. Actually, Tony Stewart in the 20s losing a little bit of time when you look at the interval right there. Tony running the high side, Matt Kenseth in the 17 running the low side.
And you remember, then watch what happened. They called Tony and said, what are you doing? Get down there and run with him.
And that's what he's doing right here through 3 and 4.
You were down there all day. What are you doing up there sliding around the top? Get back down on the bottom.
And wherever Tony goes, Kurt Busch is his shadow.
And right now he's starting to reel him in a little bit.
Now here's the deal. You run high on one end and low on the other. Because that's just the difference in the design of the track. Maybe there's a lot of grip up high in 1 and 2. Run down low on the bot down in 3 and 4. Tell you. Jeff Gordon, you know, we haven't talked about him all day long. I don't know. Does it look like those flames are getting brighter?
He's running in 12th place right now. He's just been kind of hanging out there about 9th to 15th all day long.
Jerry Nadeau just in front of him at 11. So Nadeau 11th, Gordon 12th, and they're about 6 seconds off the lead.
Matt Yoakum, what's going on with that 24 car?
Well, Larry Mack, they've been running in the teens pretty much all day. Like you mentioned, currently in the 12th position. Under that last stop, before they pitted, Gordon was telling his crew chief, Robbie Loomis, the car started out loose, and that's why those cars were getting by him so easy. He also mentioned that it feels like his car is actually in a wind tunnel, which I've never been in a wind tunnel before, so I don't know how that feels like. He said it feels like the car is bouncing around a little bit in the wind. They made a 4-tire change, went down on air pressure in the left rear, and also made a track bar adjustment half a round down.
Now, if Hammond was down there in Jeffy Lube, he could show us his shock absorbers. And what that probably is that low-speed control in the shock absorber is letting that car maybe vibrate a little bit when it's got wind blowing on it.
And this track has a lot of bumps anyhow, so the car don't get that good of a ride. You throw the wind into it, it even makes it worse.
For the lead, 3 of them packed together pretty tightly.
This is good racing. I just know that Tony Stewart, I just keep worrying about 97 running into the back of Tony. He runs so close to him that if Tony slips or if Tony happens not to get back in the throttle when he expects him to, I think if I was Tony, I'd do exactly what he's doing right there. Let him slide right in front of him.
There you go.
Yeah, look who's coming right there. The 4th place car, rookie Jimmy Johnson,
that's incredible.
Coming right up on him.
And he's got a fast hot rod. Let me tell you, he's as quick as anybody, maybe quicker.
He's running the bottom of the racetrack right now through 3 and 4. And he's catching them.
Bottom suckers.
It'll be a 4-car battle for the lead when we come back. Kenseth, Busch, Stewart, and Johnson. 85 laps to go in the MBNA America 500 at Atlanta. Kurt Busch has taken the lead from Matt Kenseth, and Jimmy Johnson has taken third from Tony Stewart. Let's show you the pass for the lead.
Kurt just got back in the gas a lot quicker than Matt did. Got that little bit of momentum, and of course I believe there's probably a little bit of cooperation between the two of them right there. I'll let you go, bud.
Jimmy Johnson has moved past Tony Stewart, putting the rookie in third.
That's an amazing run.
Man, you're doing the best job I've seen you do yet. You know that? Gotta get hot rod, man. Just trying to be smart here. We'll be fine. We still got a ways to go. We've got a long ways to go yet. A long ways, but you're doing a good job. Can you hang in there that long? Yeah, I think we'll be all right. Not gonna fall out of the seat on me, are you? I'll try not to.
Little dry humor.
That right there, that will build a fire on that driver quicker than anything. That's just what I've told you. They used to call me all the time and say, "Y'all, you ain't laying down on me, are you, boy?" And I'd say, "I'll show you something."
But you know what I'm hearing, what between Chad Knaus, the crew chief, and Jimmy Johnson, and they're only 4 races. I hear chemistry there. They got a good relationship.
A lot of respect.
That's what'll keep them running up front.
Well, if I was Jimmy Johnson, I'd be thanking the racing gods that I ended up in the situation he's in. Driving for Rick Hendrick, got a great sponsor, got a great crew. If he's got any talent, he's going to get a chance to show it.
So we have 2 Fords, a Chevy, and a Pontiac in fourth. Let's go down to that pit and Matt.
Mike, Tony Stewart has dropped back to fourth. Now the head engine builder, Joe Gibbs Racing, Mark Cronquist. Now you've done some work on Tony's teammate, Bobby Labonte's engine. What'd you guys do?
Well, when Spencer got into Bobby there on pit road, he turned the motor. We don't know how much RPM because the tach was buried. So we just came in and there was a broken valve spring, so we just pulled all the rock arm, push rod, everything out of the motor, put another valve spring in there just to ride on and keep the valves from dropping down, took the spark plug out, and now we're riding around on 7 cylinders. So hopefully we can stay above minimum speed just to collect some points.
Shades of last year, but it was a different problem with the valve spring last year.
Yeah, we had a manufacturer problem last year, but this time here it was due to that accident on pit road.
He's back out there, Dick Berggren, searching for points.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is searching for points too. He's also searching for the lead. He came out of that last round of pit stops running in 10th spot. He's worked his way up to 5th. This set of tires is very much to his liking. Not too many laps ago, he came on the radio and said, "Nobody can touch us." His lap times are not at all dissimilar to what we're seeing the leader put down.
Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth for second.
48 car just steadily on the march.
You've got a driver in his second season in the lead. You've got a rookie driver in second. Talk about young guns. Wow.
This is I can't tell you how tough. This is the toughest race we've run so far this year. 500 miles on this bowl. You don't have a lot of straightaway here. Not a lot of time to rest. You're in a turn all the time. Pulling a lot of G's. Even though you lose grip, still a hard day's work.
And of course the thing we've only had 4 cautions, Jeff, and that don't give anybody time to rest on anything. Not a driver or the crew chief or the crew.
No, you're exactly right, Larry. And that's one of the biggest things is when you get into it's early in the season. I know that Darrell don't like all this working out things, but if you've got drivers not in good shape, he could fall out of the seat here today.
Let's go to the leader's pit, Steve Burns.
Mike with Jimmy Fennick. Jimmy, you guys seem better on long runs. Tell us about your strategy for the end of the race.
Well, we got to make another pit stop, but right now the long runs are playing in our hand. Let's hopefully this thing can go green the rest of the way. But otherwise, that Rubbermaid Ford Taurus is doing good, and Kurt, he's doing awesome.